You're a Nazi. No, you're a Nazi. No, you're a Nazi. No, you're a Nazi. Since Americans can't seem to stop falsely calling each other Nazis, let's look at 5 times in history that Nazis actually integrated into American society, companies, government, and culture. Number 1, Wernher von Braun. Wernher von Braun was a German and later American aerospace engineer and space architect. He was a leading figure in the development of rocket technology in Germany and a pioneer of rocket technology and space science in the United States. When in his 20s and 30s, von Braun worked in Nazi Germany's rocket development program. He helped design and develop the V-2 rocket. Following the war, he was secretly moved to the United States, along with about 1,600 other German scientists, engineers, and technicians. We'll get into that later. Here's a picture from Space.com of Wernher von Braun, former Nazi, hanging out with Walt Disney. Very interesting. Von Braun worked with Disney Studio as a technical director, making 3 films about space exploration for television. So next time you want to call your friend or somebody on Twitter a Nazi just for disagreeing with you politically or socially, maybe consider 1, not doing that, and 2, sharing my video of actual Nazis. Number 2 is Operation Paperclip. Operation Paperclip was a secret program of the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, largely carried out by special agents of Army CIC, in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians, such as Wernher von Braun and his V-2 rocket team, were taken from Germany to America for U.S. government employment, primarily between 1945 and 1959. Many were former members and some were former leaders of the Nazi Party. Interesting. So 1,600 Nazis came to the United States and worked directly in government. At bare minimum, you have to think that's at least interesting. I know the argument is, well, we wanted their technology, we wanted their scientists, and I totally understand that perspective. Yeah, you don't want another country to get them. But imagine your history classes teaching you, this is the evil regime that we worked with Russia to defeat, so then we took 1,600 members, many of which were with the Nazi Party, into our government. And I guess we weren't concerned that Nazi influence was going to take over our government or possibly work from the inside. I don't know. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't learn that much in history class. It's written by the winners. And even if you believe the official narrative for history all throughout history, things like Operation Paperclip really make you wonder what the heck is going on. Number 3 is Bayer. Bayer AG is a German multinational pharmaceutical and life sciences company and one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. They started out selling heroin, which is now obviously illegal. It was trademarked and marketed by Bayer from 1898 to 1910 as a cough suppressant and over-the-counter treatment for other common ailments, including pneumonia and tuberculosis. Like I said before, they were a German company, and during World War II and the Holocaust, according to these sources, Bayer's parent company, IG Farben, used slave labor in factories it built in German concentration camps, most notably in the Monowitz concentration camp known as Auschwitz III, part of the Auschwitz camp complex in German-occupied Poland. By 1943, almost half of IG Farben's 330,000-strong workforce consisted of slave labor or conscripts, including 30,000 Auschwitz prisoners. If you scroll down, you'll see a Bayer employee wrote to Rudolf Hals, the Auschwitz commandant, the transport of 150 women arrived in good condition. However, we were unable to obtain conclusive results because they died during the experiments. So I guess they were conducting medical experiments on inmates at Auschwitz and at the Mauthausen concentration camp. It looks like it didn't go so well for a lot of people who were the test subjects. If you thought it couldn't get any more bizarre, Bayer recently merged with Monsanto, who Bloomberg writes, heroin, Nazis, and Agent Orange inside the $66 billion merger of the year. These companies used to sell heroin and Agent Orange. They want to form the world's largest supplier of seeds and pesticides. So instead of calling working class citizens who are conservative Nazis, or perhaps maybe your left-wing counterparts as Nazis because you don't agree with them, people who literally worked with Nazi Germany now own most of your seeds and pesticides. Shocking. Number 4 is AP, the Associated Press. This comes from The Guardian. Revealed how Associated Press cooperated with the Nazis. German historians show how news agency retained access in 1930s by promising not to undermine strength of Hitler regime. According to that Guardian article, the Associated Press news agency entered a formal cooperation with the Hitler regime in the 1930s, supplying American newspapers with material directly produced and selected by the Nazi propaganda ministry. Associated Press, which has described itself as the Marine Corps of journalism, was the only Western news agency able to stay open in Hitler's Germany, continuing to operate until the US entered the war in 1941. The New York-based agency ceded control of its output by signing up the so-called, I don't even want to pronounce that, promising not to publish any material calculated to weaken the strength of the Reich abroad or at home. This law required AP to hire reporters who also worked for the Nazi Party's propaganda division. One of the 4 photographers employed by the Associated Press in the 1930s, Franz Roth, was a member of the SS paramilitary unit's propaganda division, whose photographs were personally chosen by Hitler. AP has removed Roth's pictures from its website since Scharnberg published her findings, though thumbnails remain viewable to software issues. You get the point. I wonder if the news agency who literally worked with Nazi Germany has ever falsely labeled somebody else a white supremacist or a Nazi. I bet they have. Not shocking. Number 5 is everybody's favorite fast car that seems to have the most annoying owners. No offense if you own a BMW, but you kind of know it's true. BMW. Here's the New York Post. BMW admits regret over using Nazi slave labor during World War II. German car giant BMW admitted Monday to feeling profound regret for the enormous suffering it caused by using Nazi slave labor to fuel Adolf Hitler's killing machine during World War II. Under the National Socialist regime of the 1930s and 40s, BMW AG operated exclusively as a supplier to the German arms industry, according to the car company, which made the contrite statement during a celebration in Munich for the famed automaker's 100th birthday. During the World War II, BMW supplied the Nazi war effort with airplanes and motorcycle parts using Nazi slave labor. So the point of making this video was, one, to teach people stuff that they might not have known, but also, in an era where everybody's so quick to hate somebody who disagrees with them, whether it be political policy, religion, social issues, a mere misunderstanding, or multiple layered problem that our country is facing, you constantly hear the word Nazi, 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 Nazi. So I figured we'd have a conversation about actual Nazis and United States entities that were involved with them at that time. Now, once again, I'm not suggesting anything terrible. I'm sure a lot of them have learned their ways and changed. But in other ways, I do want to raise the question, what is going on? I mean, with Operation Paperclip, it is very interesting at least. And with the Bayer-Monsanto merger, you're talking about seeds, pesticides, pharmaceutical power. It's a lot of power. And regardless of whether they came from Nazi Germany, making Agent Orange, or England or Russia, or the United States themselves, so many people talk about politics and call each other Nazis, but never actually look at the food industry, the medicine industry, our water, and root level issues that affect the American public on a daily basis. That's where you kind of see the two-party trap. You have working class people fighting against each other, and they're probably looking down at you, cracking up, thinking how foolish you are, to attack each other, instead of getting to the core, to try to really free the American people, and make sure that we're all looking out for each other's interests. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. If you'd like to support my news analysis, please check the links below. I'm hosting an event where we're doing live Bitcoin debates, we're doing a paleo vegan debate, we're doing a town hall to let people ask questions, a comedian, I'll be talking. It's going to be a great time. September. Check the link below if you'd like to come to that and you're in the Los Angeles area. And if not, thank you for supporting and following my channel. Share this video if you think it's interesting, or tag a friend that you might think is interested by it. And most importantly, have a good week.